Hi everyone, my name is Adity Khanna, and I'll be leading this fourth tech talk in the series that was started by my friend Priya Ravindran. What I'd like to do before starting is ask if you can all please mute your phones so that way there's little interruption as the talk is going on, and then I'm happy to answer any questions at the end. So my second request is if you can please hold all your questions until the end, and I'm happy to try and answer them when we get to that portion. Okay, I'll go ahead and proceed, and hopefully we'll have some joiners as we're talking. So just to give you a little bit of information about myself, again, as I mentioned, my name is Adity Khanna, and I'm a graduate of USC. My friend Priya, who approached me about doing this, is a Bruin buddy of mine, so I had to represent the Trojans equally as well on this slide. I obtained my undergraduate degree with a Bachelor of Science in Biology and a minor in Psychology, and then went on to get a master's degree in genetic counseling. Once I got that, I've been practicing now for almost 15 years in clinical care, seeing high-risk prenatal and cancer patients and talking about genetic testing options. In addition to my professional setting, I've also previously volunteered for a nonprofit organization called the American India Foundation, specifically with their young professional chapter in LA called AIF-YP-LA. And what I was doing with them was I was co-lead with my friend, and we would coordinate social and fundraising events for the organization. When I'm not working or volunteering in the past with AIF, what I enjoy spending my time doing is socializing with friends and family, traveling, concerts, and trying to stay fit in various different methods of working out, and also volunteering with various charitable organizations locally in Southern California. So when my friend Priya first approached me about doing this, I honestly thought, what can I contribute to a Tech Talk series? But what I've been thrilled to learn as I've been planning this talk is I've actually learned a lot about both myself and the fact that I myself have learned a lot in just prepping for this talk. So hopefully I can relay some of that information to you, and also to just stress the importance of the fact that even those of us who think we know a lot about this aspect, there's plenty to still learn. So in prepping for this talk, I learned a lot about Google Calendar myself. So I am super thrilled to be presenting this information to you. So as you can see on the slide here, what I'm showing you is how I used to stay organized, and I'll go on to show you how I currently stay organized. So this is a picture of my Mickey Mouse leather-bound planner that I used nearly 18 years ago when I first started college, and that's how I would keep track of my homework assignments and any birthdays that I needed to know. So on the picture on the right, you can actually see that I have things written down in various colors. And I looked through the calendar yesterday myself and noticed that the red is for birthdays, blue is for anniversaries, and then anything I wrote in black ink was stuff I had going on for school or for work. So to translate this into what I'm doing now, it actually translates pretty well, except I have easy access to my calendar and important events when I need it, as opposed to carrying around this heavy organizer that I used to use. So now what I use is I have Google Calendar, both on my cell phone and on my laptop. And these are two screenshots of both my cell phone and my laptop of how the Google Calendar appears. So on the left, you can see an image of the cell phone of how Google Calendar is seen on my cell phone. And then on the right is Google Calendar on my laptop. And you can see the concept is actually very similar because Google Calendar has actually identified in various different colors the different organized. So in red on the right are my birthdays, and in green are the events that Google Calendar feels I should remember, which are the national holidays, so Martin Luther King, New Year's, etc., and so on. And on the left here, again, to refer back to my cell phone screenshot, you can see yesterday I had a pretty packed morning, but of course it was a fun one, and I was easily able to get through it with my calendar and my reminders that are popping up. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next slide and give you some background on Google itself and Google's Calendar app. So Google, as I'm sure most of you know, is a web-based search engine that began on September 4th, 1998 by two Stanford undergraduate students. And again, this is something that I myself learned yesterday as I was planning this presentation. Google then later launched the Google Calendar option in April of 2006. So one of the points that I'd like to make clear right off the bat is that you need to have a Google or a Gmail account in order to access your Google Calendar. So I will walk you through how you can do that, or at least show you the website that you can go to create one if you don't already have that. And then I wanted to also tell you a little bit about how and why I use Google Calendar to help me stay organized. Basically, I find that it's easy to use, and I can also easily employ it in various different aspects of my life, both personal and professional. I like to set up reminders for myself for work meetings. So what happens is I'll get an email on my work email account, and I want to make sure that I have access to a reminder for that meeting when I'm not on my work email, and so therefore I'll set up a reminder on my cell phone, on my Google Calendar app. I also can set up reminders for travel. So I'm taking an upcoming trip to India in a couple weeks, and I've got that on there both to sort of remind me and then also as something to look forward to. Additionally, I'll set up reminders for social events so that I'm not running late, for birthdays, for those of us who don't have, for those of us who may not have a Facebook account, this is a good way to remind yourself of birthdays. I also will set myself up reminders for doctor appointments, and given that we're now in 2015 and it's a new year, we might have goals that we'd like to accomplish for the upcoming year. So for example, I myself have taken in the past a piano class, and I'd like to again do that this upcoming year, so I'm going to set myself up a reminder for the registration deadline for the class so that I don't miss it. Additionally, some other useful aspects of Google Calendar that you can share your schedule with others that you want in the know. So for example, if in this upcoming trip that I've got going on, I might share my calendar or create a separate calendar with my family since we're taking the trip together, so that we all have access to what we're going to be doing on any given day while we're on that trip. Additionally, I can send invitations and track RSVPs on Google Calendar. And what I find in making use of Google Calendar, or frankly any sort of online calendar app, because you can incorporate many of these things that I'll be telling you today in any calendar app, but I, like I said, use Google Calendar. What I find is when I put something in writing, I'm less inclined to bail on it, and I'm more inclined to actually follow through. And then for those of you who know me, know that one of my biggest pet peeves is actually tardiness. So I think it's a sign of respect when you have an appointment or have planned something with a friend that you show up, if at all possible, on time. So Google Calendar, I find, helps me accomplish most of these things seamlessly. All right, so what I'm going to now do is exit the presentation and do a little demonstration for you on how to set up a Google account and also on how to create various different types of reminders for yourself. So whether they be one-time events, like a doctor's appointment, or recurring events like birthdays, or an event or an appointment with multiple people as in the form of an invite. So now I'm going to exit out of the presentation. I'm going to open up my browser, and I'm going to walk you through this. So the first screen that you see here is if you don't already have a Google account, this is where you would go to create that. You can see it's asking for your basic information, and then it's going to ask you to create a username for yourself as you would do with any other email account you might have, and then so on and so forth. Once you've created this account and you ask the laptop or the cell phone or whatever you happen to be on while you're creating it to remember you as a user, you'll then open up a Google web browser, and you can see here that it'll remember who you are. So you can see it recognizes that it's myself, Adity, opening up the web browser. So that means I have ready access to my Gmail should I want to open that, or any other Google accounts that I might have. So in order to open up my Google Calendar, I'm going to click on this box that has multiple little boxes within it, and it'll open up another sort of pop-up that I can go down to open up Google Calendar. So I'm going to open up Google Calendar, and you can see I created a little reminder for myself for the tech talk that I'm coordinating, and the reminder did actually go off 10 minutes before to let me know that the tech talk is about to start. And show you the various different views that you can have when you create a Google Calendar. You can look at it by the day. So this is what my Sunday looks like. You can look at it by the week, or you can look at it by the month. So I'm going to look at it by the month. That's generally how I like to keep my calendar open, but you can feel free to look at it in any sort of format that's comfortable for you. I'm going to walk you through creating a few different events. And like I said, if you have any questions as I'm doing it, please definitely write them down, and I'm happy to address them as we get to the end. So the first event that I'll go ahead and create is, let's say I've made plans with my friend Bria for later on tonight to maybe watch a movie. So I'm going to click on the day, since I'm clicking on today, so it's Sunday, January 4th, and it brings me this pop-up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say dinner with Bria. And then I'm going to go right here to edit events, and I'm going to click on that, and it brings up this other page for me. On this page, I can customize the specifications for this particular event. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to unclick the all day right here, because I don't want the dinner, and I'm sure Bria doesn't want the dinner to last all day. So I'm going to create the time that I'm going to want it to start, and that's going to be 7 p.m. And I'm going to anticipate a couple hours of chatting, so I'm going to make it go from 7 to 10. Okay? And I'm going to scroll down here, and it's asking me where I would like the dinner to occur. And let's say I'm going to want the dinner to happen at Bottega Louis, which is a restaurant in downtown. So I'm going to go there, and as you can see, as I was typing, it brings up the various options that match what I'm typing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the specific location that I'd like to meet Bria, and I'm going to establish that as a location. I'm going to go further down, and I'd like to add a notification. So there's already one there for me. And if I feel that's a sufficient amount of time in advance for me to get the notification, I'm going to leave it as is. But in this case, since I'm meeting Bria for dinner and it's going to take me a little bit of time to get to downtown, I'm going to customize the number of minutes and change it to, let's say, 30. So that I get a reminder on my phone at 6:30 p.m. tonight, letting me know to leave for dinner at 7. And so now I'm going to go ahead and save that. You can see right here on today's date, it shows me both the tech talk that I had previously entered and the 7 p.m. dinner with Bria. Okay, so I'm actually going to go back to that same appointment that I just entered, the dinner with Bria, and I'm going to edit it because I want to show you one other thing before we move on. So as I've entered this reminder for myself, I'd also like to remind Bria of our dinner together. So I'm going to start entering in her name. And as you can see, again, because I'm logged into my Gmail account, the Google Calendar recognizes that it's me and it has access to my email addresses that I've entered into my contacts. So as I'm entering Bria's name, it recognizes what I'm entering, and it gives me the different options of email addresses that I'd like to send the reminder to. So I'm going to click on Bria's email account, and as I scroll down, you can see that I've got my name there and we've got Bria's name there. So I'm going to go back up and I'm going to save it, and it's asking me would I like to send an invitation to Bria. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say yes. So now what that has done is sent an email invite to Bria, letting her know of my request to have dinner. Furthermore, what will happen as well, so I'm going to go back to that event. Actually, I can even show you back there. So if I click this, right there, I can both respond by saying yes, maybe, or no. So right now my response is yes because I myself have created the event. But if I go to edit, I can then also access Bria's response. So she hasn't actually looked at it yet, but if and when she does, and if she can make it, she'll respond by saying yes, or she'll respond by saying no if she can't make it. And then I can have access to that information right here. So it makes the whole coordinating and planning of the event flow very seamlessly. I'm going to go back under and actually show you how to create a recurring event, and that should also hopefully go just as easily. So let's go here and say Bria's birthday is tomorrow. So I'm going to type here Bria's birthday, and I'm going to go to Edit Events. So I'm going back to the same screen that I showed you previously, but in this scenario, because it is an all-day event, I'm going to leave the all-day checked off. And then I'm also going to check off the repeat. And what this does is it gives me the option of having Bria's birthday repeat with as much frequency as I would like it to repeat. So in this case, because it's a birthday, I want it to repeat yearly. So I'm going to go to that and click yearly. So essentially what this will do is it'll provide me a reminder every January 5th that Bria's birthday is on that day. And this last option right here is asking if you want to end the reminder at any point. So I never want it to end. I want, as I'm entering this in, I want the reminder to come for as many years as is possible. So I'm just going to go ahead and say done, and I'm going to click save, and then you can see tomorrow I've got a reminder that says Bria's birthday. Okay, so as far as the demonstration, this is pretty much the various different events that I wanted to show you. But one thing that I will point out is on the middle left of the screen, you can see my various different calendars. I've got a personal calendar, and then I've got a calendar that was created when I was part of the AIF organization, and I've got birthday calendars. So basically what that means is as I'm creating the events, I can personalize what calendar I would like the event that I'm creating to go into. So I can show you actually, let's just say the dinner with Bria. If I go back to edit event, right here is the option where I could change it. So the calendar is under my name, but I have the option of changing it. So if I wanted to put it into the AIS calendar, I could do that right here. All right. So let me go back to the presentation so I can close the demo portion of this. A couple of things that I wanted to also mention is, as I showed you in the screenshots earlier, you can actually sync your Google Calendar to your cell phone, so you have easy access to your reminders, whether you're on your laptop or not. And then additionally, Google Calendar itself has recently had some updates to make the whole process that much more easy for you. So in fact, if you were to say book a flight online and you ask the travel carrier to send you an email of the confirmation, and if the email address that you happen to use was your Gmail account, then Google Calendar will actually automatically recognize that and enter that flight information, the day you're leaving and the day you're returning, onto your Google Calendar itself. Additionally, if I was making plans, again, say with Bria, for dinner and I was sending her an email, Google Calendar would recognize the fact that I had made this arrangement and enter it automatically into my Google Calendar. So with the recent updates to Google Calendar, the whole process is actually much easier for you. All right, moving on. I'd like to open this up now for questions if anybody has any. Okay. Okay, so I think we're good. One last thing that I'd like to do before I sign off is I wanted to just reference, again, because this has been such a passionate undertaking for everybody that's involved, and especially for Priya, who started this whole series, is I'd like to show you the Facebook page for the Tech Talk that was created. And whether you have a Facebook account or not, you can actually access this talk if you want to reference it as you're going back and creating various dates on your Google Calendar or other talks that you've missed in the past. You can access all of that just by going to this Facebook page. And like I said, I'm not logged into my account, so you don't actually need a Facebook account to have this available to you. So I think that's it for me. Again, I'll pause for any questions if anybody has any. Otherwise, you can feel free to also post any questions you might have. We'll post a recording of this on that Facebook page that I just showed you, and you can feel free to post questions on there, and we'll be happy to answer them on Facebook. Okay, well, thank you so much for listening. Hopefully you all learned something, and like I said, if you have any questions, I'm happy to try and answer. Otherwise, post them on Facebook, and we'll look at it then. Thank you so much.